Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner Classics. This is episode number 2284, double number 2180. So, excuse me, it's 78. This one we have a Fantastic Four trade and a Silver Surfer trade. Yes. First up we have is Fantastic Four by Mark Waid and Mike Wieringo, Volume 3. This collect issues 503 to 513. Yes, 11 issues for this run. First up, we have a 6-part notice authoritative action. Yes, this is during a period of time where, they're celebrities, but they're not home yet. Of course, these couples were expected for B, Reed and Sue Richards, but they're not really them. Yeah, and apparently the Fantastic Four headquarters, the Baxter building, has been damaged. Excuse me. Well, in this 6-parter, the Fantastic Four take up leadership of very thanks to Doctor Doom's absence. And throughout the story, some people in Europe, like Hungary, really wants this land back because they believed that Doctor Doom stole it from them. Yep. So, yeah, basically Fantastic Four spent a lot of time. Well, also Reed doesn't like show part of his face because it's scarred. Yeah, they do fix it before this is wrapped up here. So, yeah, so basically he's ruling the country and trying to dismantle all Doctor Doom stuff. That's most of what this is. But we have Nick Fury pop up here too. And this is the original Nick Fury. Not the black Nick Fury, the original one. Where basically, Reed and Sue basically uncomfortable being there. Not Sue. Basically, the rest of us were not comfortable being there. But they had to because Reed said so because he's a leader. So, and they say, and they show people let people live here think Doctor Doom was a nice person. And then, of course, they show, make the walls visible. Yep, so they try their best, basically, and of course they protect the country because they feel like from basically taking Doctor Doom's technology and taking it for their own. And, basically a lot of people don't like the fact that he's doing this. And at one point, he is told he has 2 days to get the country. Yeah, 2 days. And the whole point of the story is just get him out of the country. Because, yeah, and this main part of the story is, they have a brief return of Doctor Doom. Yes, a brief return of him. And of course, they have various images from the Jack Kirby era when all the various times Fantastic Four fought him over the years. And of course, Reed, he goes off on his own. And of course, we also have where Doctor Doom possesses people. First, he possesses Sue, then he possesses Johnny, and then Ben. And then eventually, by the end of the story, Ben dies. Yes, Ben Grimm dies in the finale for the story. Yes, in the finale, Ben Grimm dies, but he comes back in the next issue. Yep. He dies, and then basically, the very next issue, we have Hereafter, which takes up issues 509 to 511, where he's trying to make back the thing. He fails. Of course, he's at home. He's scribbling all over stuff. And of course, he comes with the idea to bring it back. And of course, you have stuff with basically Legion Masters here. So they're going to get Ben Grimm, and of course they go to this other world where they find these angels, and they find Ben Grimm. Or kind of walk on a piece of his of the Rocky stuff part of him. Eventually they're reunited with Ben Grimm, and they open this door. In the finale, they open up. What's on the other side? Well, something really, really weird. And eventually they go inside their thing. Go to space and time. Oh, look at the door. And then they come across Jack Kirby. Yes. The late Jack Kirby. Which I think at this time he'd been dead for 10 years. And where are the elves? Yeah, that is Jack Kirby. one of the co-creators of the Fantastic Four. Apparently, he threw him in here. I don't know. I don't think this is Mike Wieringo personally. I think this is basically. I think this is Jack Kirby. So he designs stuff, beautiful cities. He also takes time to use an eraser and he fixes Reed's face, which had been that way at this point for almost 10 issues. So he fixes his face. It's perfectly fine. Ben Grimm's throwback normal. And then, of course, the final two-parter that's in this book, where they have a team-up with Spider-Man, but of course they have where Human Torch was trying to make it a huge place was the Statue of Liberty. And apparently he's total lead, despite the fact he's a celebrity. He comes all the time, and he's total lead by Homeland Security. Well, it's post 9/11. What do you expect? But I really enjoyed this two-parter, and it felt really good to see the Spider-Man team with Fantastic Four for this two-parter. Yep. But this whole trade is fantastic. It shows the fact that Mark Waid and Mike Wieringo had a lot of respect for Fantastic Four. And it's basically the stuff I was reading when I started reading comics. Which is, believe it or not, 19 years ago. Almost 20 years reading comics. Yeah. I give this trade here a 10 out of 10. It's that damn good. Next that we have is... not that one there. I think it's this one maybe? Yes, there is. Sadly put, we have the second, and I don't know if there's any more of these Marvel Masterworks for this character. We have Marvel, come on, thank you. We have Marvel Masterworks, The Silver Surfer, Volume 2. This collects issues 7 through 18 of The Silver Surfer. I think it was actually issue 6 where they stopped being bi-monthly and 7 was the first issue to be monthly. And I also think they got a reduced page count here. Now, in these 12 issues, done by Stan Lee, John Buscema, but here's the thing. Jack Kirby does do a book for this series. Yes, he does issue 18. Which, hey, at least he drew an issue. Mm-hmm. I'll get to my final thoughts on this book because it's interesting basically what this is. So yeah, you have Lee do all the writing here, and basically like I mentioned, 717 is done by John Buscema. The last issue is done by Jack Kirby. These issues came with the period of August 1969 to December 1970, which means, yes, this book is out of the 60s now. In the first issue, he basically encounters the era of Frankenstein. And this is issue 7. Yes. Does he count Monster in here? Not really. And then basically issue 8, he encounters a character who we actually would see in the Page of Avengers. Basically a character called the Ghost. He appears for this issue and the following issue. But apparently the character was brought in by Mephisto, who is basically a recurring villain for Silver Surfer. Yeah, a demon who's a recurring villain for a cosmic superhero. Yeah, and here's the Ghost in his debut appearance. Yeah, I figured I'd talk about his here first and the other one. So, he appears here for this issue and the following issue. And then he pops up Page of Avengers after this one. Then for issue 10, basically it's people of Zen Law trying to contact Silver Surfer. Interesting, the fact that they would issue 10. Of course, Charlotte Ball, his lover, is here too. And this continues on even to the very next issue. Yeah, then of course, issue 12, he fights off the Abomination. Yes. A Hulk villain. Yes, you heard me right. A Hulk villain. He fights him here in issue 12 of the book. Yep. And then, basically, in issue number 13, he fights someone called the Doomsday Man. Excuse me, just him fighting our guy in a suit. Evil guy, mind you. There's nothing really much to this one, per se. Then issue 14, he teams up with Spider-Man. Yep, issue 14. I'm like, not a bad idea. Issue 15, battles the Human Torch. I'm like, okay, interesting. Yeah, then pretty much right after that, then we have him fighting Mephisto again for issue 16 of the book. And then you have basically, oh, you want to be free from your exile? Destroy Shield. Yes, so Silver Surfer has to fight Shield itself. Yep, evil guest appearance with the Fantastic Four doesn't help matters. And then in the last issue, you have Silver Surfer team up with the Inhumans. Like, that's interesting. Yeah. And, of course, at the end of the issue, he vowed revenge against humanity. And that's the trade there. Yeah, the book was canceled, issue 18. From what I read, basically the story did continue. Believe it or not, in the 90s, in West Paris Aspiring for a few issues, plus a couple issues of Fantastic Four World's Greatest Comic Magazine. But publication-wise, his very next appearance was in Silver Surfer. Not Silver Surfer, was Submariner issue 34. Yes, that was his very next appearance, which I have discussed already. And that two-parter led to the formation of Defenders. And throughout the next decade, he mostly appeared in the pages of Avengers, Defenders, and Fantastic Four, when not having his own book until 1981, when he released the one-shot. I'll discuss that in the next Comic Corner. Well, actually, in a future Comic Corner, per se. But my final thoughts on this run for Silver Surfer. The very first volume for Silver Surfer ever released. Now, I did read, apparently, Don Heck was supposed to take over the artwork, but that didn't happen. It is interesting, though, this is the first complete series where it is actually the shortest book that Stan Lee worked on. Yes, of all the books the guy worked on, this is the only one he worked on in the 60s that got canceled after a very short period of time. And it took basically over like 11 years later to get in our book for Silver Surfer. Yeah, but this book, this 18-issue book was fantastic. We got introduced to Mephisto, a guy who was a demon who's probably considered to be one of the most hated demons of all time, thanks to One More Day. The debut of a character called the Ghost, fighting Frankenstein's monster. The book itself was actually really good. It's surprisingly to last that long. But we do get another book basically after this one, don't worry. When I talk about Silver Surfer Epic Collection Volume 3, I will probably discuss basically his ongoing series. His longest running ongoing series. Well, I discussed one of the trades for that already. Now, I'm not sure what will be in that Volume 2. I just discussed basically the first volume because I assume it's going to be there. As it's going to be there, I don't know. Time will tell. Okay, so that's episode. Next episode is going to be My Hero Academia. And then, of course, we're on to One Piece, okay? Bye.